So let me show you some amazing numbers. The support for gay marriage in America back in 1996, when Gallup first started polling on it, was only 27%. May of 2014, this year, it's now up to 55%. Because that's a sea change. That's amazing. Now, there's many different reasons for that, but one of the reasons is that people started realizing that they know gay people. Sometimes they're in their family, they're among their friends, they're among their co-workers, and once you know a gay person, you're far less likely to discriminate against them. Now, Dave Fleischer is an activist who moved to California after Prop 8 and did a great deal of polling in California, surveys, etc., to find out why people voted the way they did. And in the midst of that, they found out something interesting that they didn't intend to find out. So here are the three things that were on the sheet for the canvassers. They would go and knock on people's doors, thousands of doors, and first they'd ask them two questions. How do you feel about marriage for gay and lesbian couples? And then, can I ask you why you feel that way? Now, optional in the canvasser card was insert brief personal statement. Now, a lot of the canvassers happened to be gay. Now, a lot of them were straight as well, of course. They just cared about the issue. But the gay canvassers noticed that when they started talking about their personal stories, people's opinions started changing. Now, on average, they'd have conversations that were 20 minutes long. So this was not a simple, oh, by the way, I'm gay. And a guy goes, oh, okay, fine, then I'm in favor of gays. Right? And I'm sure there's some of that too, because here he is, he's faced with a human being. It makes it harder to discriminate against that person as you're talking to them. But that's the entire point. So what they wanted to do was study this a little bit more. So, this was just their informal experience, although it was with a ton of people. But what they did was they brought in Donald Green from Columbia University, he's a political scientist, and then Michael LaCour from University of California at LA, in other words, UCLA, he's a graduate student here. And they did surveys, okay? And here's the results. In follow-up surveys with those households, average opinion in favor of gay marriage, now measured a 100-point feeling thermometer, jumped by double digits among those who talked about same-sex marriage with gay canvassers, nearly twice the change among those who talked about gay marriage with straight volunteers. So it turns out the anecdotal evidence that they had earlier was confirmed by these surveys. So they would go and talk to them initially and get a sense of where they were, and then they would go back and talk to them, and then they would have conversations, some of them would, about their experience as a gay person. And they found out that it made a huge difference, double-digit difference. But something else also happened. In follow-up calls, LaCour also surveyed people living with voters who met the volunteers. The results were astonishing. Those people's opinions changed. The conversations that took place after the canvassers left seemed to be almost as powerfully mind-changing as the originals. The effects were still measurable a full year later. So it wasn't just that somebody who felt uncomfortable when a canvasser said, oh, I'm gay, and they didn't want to offend them, but they still held on to their core beliefs. No, up to a year later, they had changed their beliefs, and they had even changed the beliefs of other people that they lived with. Look, it is super interesting, and it goes to show something that we've been arguing on the show for a long time, which is it's important to know the people you're talking about, because it leads to less stereotyping, less discrimination, and overall, honestly, less hatred in the world, okay? Because if you know someone who's gay, it's harder to say, I don't like that guy. That guy is wrong. That guy is evil. That guy is sinful. Now, it's also true in other contexts, certainly true about Jews in this country. There was terrible anti-Semitism. Now, a lot of Americans have had contact with Jews, and many other reasons as to why things have gotten better. But last week we showed you a poll where Jews finished actually #1 as the religion most liked by Americans, okay? Now, unfortunately in America, not a lot of people have had contact with Muslims. So it's still easy to say they're the other, right? As people have been saying about gays for a long time. So I think that's why it's important to get to know one another in all these different contexts. Because once you know someone, it's harder to hate them. So there's a really interesting study showing that in the context of gay Americans, and also a powerful reason why more people need to come out. Because the more that come out, the more people know gay Americans, the more likely they are to be accepting of them. Okay. Now, speaking of scaring people, let's go to Ebola. Now, we're going to have a lot more about Ebola in the second half, but I just wanted to give you one fun little thing here, okay? Now, Fox News is upset about how President Obama has handled Ebola, of course. Fill in the blank for Fox News is upset about how President Obama has handled X, right? And you will get any category and you will have the same sentence. Now, in this case, they have a unique idea for President Obama and how he should handle this. But before we go to that, I want you to remember how much Fox News hates czars. Remember all those czars that President Obama had? Boy, were they right in criticizing him here.
All right, you're looking at the screen and you're hearing the music. President Obama has appointed more than 30 czars who have a major influence on public policies.
What about the new guys? For example, the car czar, Steve Ratner.
Joining us right now, a guest who wants to change all that.
In the meantime, he's now appointed a border czar, another czar. You know, when I looked up czar in the dictionary or Googled it, the word that came up was king. And I was wondering to myself why we are having so many czars/kings now in America. Does anyone have the answer for me?
Now they have dozens and dozens of czars in the first 8 months.
Every problem has a czar. King of the border, king of drugs, king of the car problem.
King of the world.
I have really been sitting back and waiting for Republicans to stand up and speak out about this.
Actually, when you think about it, czar is a Russian word, and we've actually, on the big screen over there, we put up the Russian czars through history. Yeah, there's 4 of them. And then when you look at the number of czars we've got right now, and there's another 4 right there, and it keeps going on. When you look at the number of czars in the United States.
With some interesting headgear.
Yeah, look, we've got a border czar, screen left, and we've got a drug czar, we got a...
Oh, these are actually present-day people.
Yeah,
with mustaches.
Oh, these are czars.
These are members of Barack Obama's cabinet.
Oh.
He's installed a bunch of czars. Look at that.
It's apparent that they seem to be making some big decisions, whether it's a healthcare czar, the green job czar who resigned over the weekend, or the international climate change czar, Carol Browner, is trying to coordinate policy with the Department of Energy and the EPA.
What wedding czar did you consult before you got engaged, Congressman?
Government performance czar yet to be named.
Yeah, there you go. Look, we got czar music.
Czar is actually a Russian word, right? So, Fox News, what's your suggestion on how President Obama should handle Ebola?
So every time there's an incident like this, you see Thomas Frieden, the guy who heads up CDC, but is he the official? There he is right there. Is he the official Ebola czar? We probably need one because the president isn't, he's not.
Senator McCall's calling for one.
Absolutely. So with all this bad news breaking, where was the president of the United States over the weekend? Right after he talked to the Secretary of Health and Human Services, he went golfing.
They're like a self-parody. He has too many czars. Why doesn't he have a czar for Ebola? Senator McCain, who also has expressed disdain for czars in the past, is also calling for an Ebola czar. I believe the proper word is shameless. Okay. Now, last update for you guys. So I have a Wolfpack update for you guys, but before we get to that, and it's a very important one, and we need your help on that, and it's very encouraging. Let me show you the discouraging stuff about what's happening in this country. This is an amazing fact. Do you know that in 2012, Super PAC spent $1 billion, and that 73% of the money came from 100 people? Think about that. 100 people put in essence, $730 million to buy our politicians. You think that our politicians might listen to those 100 people a little bit more than the rest of us? More than the other 300 million Americans that live here? Of course they listen to those guys. They put in $730 million. Those guys are royalty. They're our new lords. They get to decide what our policy is. They're the ones that handpick who our politicians are going to be. Oh, this is the Democrat you'll get and the Republican you'll get and the false choice you'll get among the people that I have selected through my money. Now, New Yorker also pointed out, for example, that in Georgia, a leaked memo from the Senate campaign of Democrat Michelle Nunn advised her to spend 80% of her first month fundraising. 80% of her time is not talking about policies, not reaching out to voters. It's doing the main thing she needs to do to get elected. Give me the money. Give me the legalized bribes. Give it to me. Give it to me. Oh, yes, donors, what can I do for you? I'll give you this. I'll give you that. Okay? And that's a Democrat. Doesn't matter, man. It's the system. The system is built so Democrats and Republicans have to kiss the ass of the donors. That's why Wolfpack intends to change the system. I'll tell you how in 1 second. But before we go on with it, you know what people think. You can't do it. You're not going to be able to do it. You guys are crazy. So I liked that the New Yorker, in a piece about Larry Lessig and his Mayday PAC, pointed out what happened with the suffragist movement, right? We want to get women the right to vote. And as I always tell you, that's impossible, right? I mean, women couldn't vote. How in the world could they get the right to vote? Crazy, right? They explained that in the 1880s, the New York Times described the experience of the suffrage shriekers who were, quote, contemptuously laughed to scorn. Their proposals dismissed as the work of, quote, half-crazy fanatics or weak-minded old women of both sexes. So, suffragists, you guys are nuts. You're never going to get the right to vote for women. Turns out they were right. Women don't have the right. Wait a minute. It turns out that the critics were wrong. Because when you have dedicated people fighting for what's right, our victory is not possible. It's inevitable. Now, we already have victory in California and Vermont. They have called for a convention to get an amendment to get money out of politics. Up next, New Jersey, my home state, very proud. They're having a hearing this Thursday, and I want you to go to it. Thursday, October 16th at 1 o'clock. Senate State Government Committee, Committee Room 7, second floor, State House Annex, Trenton, New Jersey. If you live in New Jersey, that's your house, okay? And they're supposed to represent you. And by the way, a lot of them do, okay? A lot of them are supportive of this, as we've seen in state after state. They're not like the national guys. But you need to show up and tell them who you are, okay? Tell them what you want. Because we don't need the entire state of New Jersey there. We don't need 51% of New Jersey there. We just need enough people for them to realize that people are mad and they want real change, not fake change, real change. And the thing about real change is that it doesn't happen because of some glorious leader, or it doesn't happen in a faraway land in a faraway time. It happens this Thursday. This is how it happens when you show up. By the way, it's not theory. We already did it. We showed up in California. When we showed up in California, the committee woman in charge of the committee said, after all of our people testified, swarms of them, she said, does anyone dare oppose this legislation? It's funny how the impossible turns to inevitable so quickly. Now, if you want to get involved, email at newjersey@wolf-pac.com. newjersey@wolf-pac.com. The sponsors of this SCR 132 are Senator Linda Greenstein, Senator Brian Stack, Senator Nia Gill. These are the good guys. You need to support the good guys on the issue that matters most. In fact, really the only issue in the country, because if you don't fix this, you can't fix any of the other issues. Our state leaders in New Jersey are State Director Walker Green, organizer Eli Fendelman, and organizer Mark Donget. So if you are not in the state of New Jersey and you want to help those guys organize, become a member of Wolfpack. At least that'll allow for funding to be able to organize everyone in New Jersey, as well as all the other states we're coming to, because we're coming to all of them. There is a way to do this. We're already on the road. We already have some success. To get New Jersey before the end of the year would be a wonderful Christmas present, okay, for our country and for democracy. The reason that we are hearing from some people in Washington that they're scared of Wolfpack is because they realize, oh no, this might actually work. Get up. It's time to get them back. Right now, it's time to get them back in Jersey. See you out there on Thursday. Young Turks. That was a segment from hour one of the show.
Now for the better hour, the second hour.
Drums. You can get the whole show on TYT-network.com. Back on the Young Turks, member number 2954 is Lubomir Nikolov. If we were going to do Lubomir's accent, we would need Wes Clark here. He's an expert on Eastern European accents.
He's actually really good at it.
Yeah, he's pretty good. See, that sounded like my Italian one.
I don't know what that was.
Okay, hey, we should have a poll on the website. What's worse, my Italian accent or my Irish accent?
I think it's a tie.
It's a tie. All right. Well, anyway, Daniel Krankel is member number 1035. You guys are awesome.
I like that last name. I was a little crankle when I came into work today.
That's funny you say that, because that goes to our next tweet. Let's see here. Elliot Lewis says, if cops woke me up at 6 in the morning, Ebola would be the least of their problems. Hashtag cranky psycho.
I have a fun 6 a.m. story for the post game.
Oh, that does sound fun. Okay. Anna Kasparian at 6 in the morning. Woo woo, that's only in the morning. That's for some real old school TYT fans.
That.
Yeah, okay. So we'll do that in the post game. Elliot, note to self, never wake Elliot up. Zach Harris asks, can I be the czar of pumpkin iced coffee? Yes. Congratulations, Zach. You are now officially the czar of iced pumpkin coffee or whatever it is that you want. Christopher Smith says, 6 in the morning, police at my door, fresh Adidas squeak across bathroom floor.
What is up with this dude?
No, that's a different guy.
Oh.
What is that, Jay?
That's Ice-T.
Oh.
Ice-T, okay.
Classic hip-hop.
I knew that.
Yeah, sure, of course. Yeah, of course.
You know what I was listening to today? Getting It by Too Short. Come on, how classic is that?
No, you're very close. Okay. Finally, Ken Cotton says, a lot of big talk about fear-mongering early on by TYT. Now walking it back after a few cases. What if those few become 100s? Washington.
Look, at least we're honest, okay,
Right.
when we're backpedaling.
Well, look, if it turns out that the doctors and the scientists got it wrong, and it's easier to contract than we thought, or shit, it's airborne, right? Well, it's not. I'm not the scientist.
I know.
Damn it, Jim! I'm not a scientist. I'm a talk show host.
And who are we going to believe? Are we going to believe the fearmongers on Fox News, or are we going to believe the dude from the National Institutes of Health?
Right. We went with the National Institutes of Health, and let's not overly panic. We don't know how the nurse actually got it yet. Let's figure that out. Maybe something went wrong in the process.
They speculated all that stuff. Basically, maybe again, she took off her suit the wrong way, then it rubbed it. And also, they said if it's developing into different
Don't rub your eye! Don't rub your eye! What are you doing? Jesus Christ! Jesus, back away slowly. Okay.
And the other aspect of if it's changes from the way it's being contracted, they're monitoring that. Hasn't seen any instances of that yet. So it's one of those things where if it changes, doesn't mean that we knew the future. I mean, they're human still, right? They still don't know what's going to happen. They're figuring it out.
And believe me, you want the scientists on the job. Okay. Those are the guys you want tracking this. You don't want to bring people and be like, well, should we pray over it? Get some holy water, start sprinkling fluids throughout the area? No, don't do that. Okay. All right. But yes, if it turns out there is a new development and panic is warranted, then we will tell you to panic. All right, let's move forward.
All right. Microsoft has a new CEO. His name is Satya Nadella. And recently he was speaking at a conference called the Celebration of Women in Computing Conference, which sounds like a lot of fun. So
You're the worst.
I mean, okay. So he was there, and he was talking about, how women can excel in their jobs. And one person asked, what women should do if they're looking for a raise. And his answer was controversial, to say the least. Let me read you what he said verbatim. It's not really about asking for the raise, but knowing and having faith that the system will actually give you the right raises as you go along. And that I think might be one of the additional superpowers that, quite frankly, women who don't ask for raises have. He continues, because that's good karma. That'll come back. Because somebody's going to know that's the kind of person that I want to trust. That's the kind of person that I want to really give more responsibility to. And in the long term, efficiency things catch up. I don't know what that means at the very end.
Yeah, no. Not the most eloquent ending.
Yeah.
Now, as a boss, I totally agree with him. Okay, look. So, but that is a partial defense of him. I know that sounds funny. Okay, hold on. Let me explain. Okay. So he's the CEO of the company. He doesn't want anybody asking for a pay raise.
Yeah.
Like he's like, oh, please don't ask for a pay raise. Super hassle, inconvenient, leads sometimes to like paying more, which is good. That's what you ask the pay raise for. Sometimes it leads to a separation from that person, from the company. Okay. It's like, so it's a giant pain in his ass. He's like, trust me, there will be great karma if no one ever asks for a raise again. Right? So now he happened to be answering the question specifically about women, so that's where you get into trouble. Okay,
yeah,
that's really stupid.
And people were really upset. Look, don't tell people that they shouldn't ask for raises. I don't care if it's a man or a woman. But that problem specifically affects women because men are more likely to negotiate their salary. Men are more likely to be aggressive in asking for raises. Women feel a lot more timid about that, which is part of the reason why there is a pay gap, right? And so that's something that you should address in a responsible way. Is what I'm saying controversial? It's true, right? Like, look, I'm a woman. I don't like freaking asking for raises or negotiating. That's why I have an agent. My agent negotiates that stuff for me because I can't do it, right? So,
well, it's an uncomfortable process for everyone. And you know, of course, we don't want to overgeneralize, but there are studies that bear out what Anna is saying, so that's why people are concerned, and that's why they asked the question in the first place, right? Now, but for him to give this kind of load of BS, honestly, to a conference about women in computing, I mean, there's a lot of incredibly smart women in that room who are not going to be buying that.
One of those women is moderator Maria Claw, and she disagreed with that statement. She said that it was not the right way to go about things. Do your homework, Claw advised women in the audience, in stark contrast to Nadella's advice to trust the system. Don't be stupid like I was, because apparently she didn't ask for raises, and that actually harmed her and her bottom line. So I like the fact that she was able to get in there and say, no, this is terrible advice. Now, of course, he got the criticism, and he sent out a company-wide email apologizing, and here's what he had to say. I answered that question completely wrong. I believe men and women should get equal pay for equal work, and when it comes to career advice on getting a raise when you think it's deserved, Maria's advice was the right advice. If you think you deserve a raise, you should just ask.
Okay.
And then I'll fire you.
Yeah. Now, in the beginning, he had sent out a tweet about how he was inarticulate.
Yeah.
Like, that's the new way of saying, like, I guess I have to apologize, but I don't really want to apologize, right? And then later he was like, okay, this is a full-blown mess. I'm in a lot of trouble here, and I'm getting some pretty bad karma. So let me go ahead and correct my own ass and put out the statement saying, no, you don't understand.
Oh my God, I am totally sorry for that.
Okay, now it's clear.
All right, moving on to some privacy-related stories. The fappening happened earlier this year, but now there's something known as the snappening, which is basically the leak of 90,000 private photos and 9,000 hacked Snapchat videos. They've been leaked all over the internet. And of course, administrators and workers of Snapchat are trying to figure out how the hell this happened because it makes them look really bad. Now, for those of you who are unaware of what Snapchat is, it is an app that allows you to send pictures and videos that are supposed to self-destruct after 10 seconds or less. But it turns out that people can not only save these images or these videos, there are third-party apps involved that also store this data, and since they store it, it can be hacked into and it can be leaked all over the internet. So let me give you some more information as reported by the Daily Beast. Now there's the snappening, a leak of approximately 90,000 photos and 9,000 videos stolen off the mobile app Snapchat. Unlike the fappening, the victims are split evenly between males and females, which is probably the reason why people are a little more upset about this one, I guess. But like the fappening, much of the context is explicit in nature. Okay.
Has anyone ever sent a Snapchat that wasn't naked? Like,
yeah, I use Snapchat, but I would never send a naked picture. And I'm not putting...
What do you... Why does it have to destruct if it's not naked?
Because it's just fun. I don't know.
Like, you send a picture of your ear or something? Like, what?
No,
I don't understand what you sent.
So me and Amir Nakui, who is the executive producer of Pop Trigger here at TYT Network, we're in a little bit of a debate as to whether or not Fireball by Pitbull is a good song. I happen to think it's an excellent song, okay? And so today I was listening to it in my car, and then I did a Snapchat video where I was dancing to it. And then
you don't want that out there. You don't want that out there. That's a good thing that was deleted for all of humanity. Okay, so, but of course, it's not surprising that most of the pictures they got were naked pictures.
Yes, yes.
And here's another problem. a lot of times you can identify who it is. Right?
Yes, you can.
So there was identifying information that went along with the picture, making it a double whammy.
Yes. Now, Snapchat did release a statement about this, and they're placing all the blame on unauthorized third-party apps. Let me tell you exactly what they said. We can confirm that Snapchat servers were never breached and were never the source of these leaks. Snapchatters were victimized by their use of third-party apps to send and receive snaps, a practice we expressly prohibit in our terms of use precisely because they compromise our user security. We vigilantly monitor the App Store and Google Play for illegal third-party apps and have succeeded in getting many of those removed, or these removed. So basically, look, this drives me crazy, okay? People will get nudies from some chick and they want to save it, right? And the nature of Snapchat prevents you from saving it. So then you can download a third-party app that helps you save it or download it without worrying about that individual being notified.
Because normally if you save it on Snapchat, they're going to get a little message saying the person you sent it to is a perv and saved it, right? Now the third-party app allows you to not get detected as you continue to be a perv. Okay. Yeah. Now, to be fair, you got sent a naked picture, right? Now, this is fascinating because I wonder if the same guys who defended the fappening will defend this, knowing that maybe it's some of them that are out there.
Yeah.
Or they will view it as a gross violation of privacy. I bet you a lot of people are consistent on it and say, well, if you took the picture, sad day for you, we should all get to see it, right? But I bet you a lot of people are like, well, I meant I wanted to see the celebrity's breasts. You should, not necessarily that you should see me naked.
Yeah, exactly. And look, there's this whole question about reasonable expectation of privacy, right? With something like iCloud, it makes me angry that security was easily breached on iCloud. They apparently didn't lock iCloud accounts after people would try numerous passwords over and over again. You see what I'm saying? But with Snapchat, like, I never felt like there was a reasonable expectation of privacy. Since this app was available, people knew that they save snaps, they save videos, whatever, all of that.
I partly disagree.
Really?
I knew. The minute somebody told me about Snapchat, I was like, oh, disaster waiting to happen. Okay. Like, you're crazy if you think those won't get out. Look at the world we live in. I didn't know they could break that password that was on a cloud or a rainbow somewhere. Oops, I got double rainbowed, right? Of course that was going to happen. But the part I disagree is, like, if you ask people, like 80, 90% of them were like, oh, no, dude, it's fine, it's Snapchat, it's fine.
I know, but there's literally a feature available where you can save the snap and the person that is saving it, or the person who's sending the snap, will get notified that it got saved. How is that a reasonable expectation of privacy?
No, dude, they won't do that. They won't do that, man. It's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. Okay, by the way, Snapchat says 50% of its users are between the ages of 13 and 17. That leads me to two conclusions. One, if you're the person who leaked these photos and got them, you might be in a world of trouble. And if you're looking at the pictures, you might be in a world of trouble, okay? That could be classified as child porn. I'm just telling you, okay? That's just the reality of what's happening. The second thing is, if I ever saw any of my kids with Snapchat on their phones, I would immediately break the phones and set the whole place on fire. Okay? Because
that sounds like a really efficient way of dealing with the situation.
Okay, because there is no good reason for Snapchat, right?
Yeah, Snapchat is fun if you're not using it for nudies, you know? I don't know why I feel like saying nudies so much today.
Okay, let's just say let's be the old man, please. I'm willing to completely embrace it. I've got damn near white hairs. Fuck it, let's go. This is so senseless. What's the point? Who cares? You know, in fact, this is like the underdevelopment of kids. Fuck, this is the underdevelopment of 20-something.
Get off my lawn.
No, let's do this. Let's do this, JR.
You're so afraid of what, talking to a girl or a guy, or actually telling them something you like them, or maybe trying to get somewhere with them, that you have to send them a dick pic and a nudie and a quick flash Snapchat because this is fun. I can't actually talk to people anymore. Let me just send a dick, quick picture. It's so stupid because you get yourself caught up in this shit, which is obvious unless you're stupid, which apparently 90,000 people are, and they don't understand how this works. How do you miss that this was going to happen? Oh, you know, it'll go away. Fuck it, here's my dick. Really? How does? Okay, so you never talk.
Some people want to see dick pics.
Yeah, send it and go. Here's my dick. Be blatant about it. Don't think you're gonna get by with this bullshit. It's not gonna work that way. But they actually believe this shit.
What I'm amazed by is they're a little reluctant to talk to girls. They're a little shy, but they're not reluctant about sending them a picture of their taint.
Ew.
That's what I mean. Like, yeah, it's and not that you're soft because you're scared to talk to girls. Shit, when I was 14, I was scared to talk to girls too. But then you figure your life out and you develop, not just sit here stuck at 14 years old. I'm sorry, dude, man. These kids that are probably 25, they've been doing this shit for 9 years, are probably like, yeah, you know, or 10, 11 years, are probably like, yeah, you know, I'm still 14 years old because I never fucking figured out life. Children.
I don't really understand what you're against. Are you against like the sexting?
This is another wall of like human contact.
Right.
Let me send a Snapchat because that's going to go away. It's not going to go away.
Or it's like the middle of the workday and you're not going to see that person for a few hours and you're like, let me spice your day up.
Totally fine. No, like if you want to have,
but then you're going to spice up the whole world's day up when they see your pics.
I'm just saying that I don't do it because I'm worried about these security breaches. Like I don't want my boobies all over the internet, right? So that's why I don't do it. But if I lived in a perfect world where I know that my stuff isn't going to be leaked, would I send my boyfriend like racy pictures? Fuck yeah, I would, right? It's fun.
But at least
I understand why people do it.
At least that's straightforward and blatant. You know he's got it.
Yeah.
I'm just so amused by that.
It's going to be there.
So amused by the idea of my wife being like, oh, great, Jenk's dick. Boy, that really spices up my day.
And then it's just going to go away.
Oh, my God. All right.
Okay. Hey, so you got that clip that we got ready for the first hour, but no? Okay, all right. Anyway, I was amused by the snapping story. I was also amused by my own idea of like, oh, look at that. My daughter has Snapchat. No. Fucking light the whole house on fire. No, it's okay. I'm sprinkling gas in the corner of the house. My wife's like, what are you doing? No, it's okay. Our daughter has Snapchat. You might want to get out of the building, though.
All right, speaking of children, let's do one last story for you guys. Another bouncy house has flown away at a New Jersey farm. It's not a funny story.
No, it's not. It's not a funny story.
All right, there's a kid in critical condition. Okay. All right, so it involves two young boys. They were in the bouncy house. However, the bouncy house was not properly secured to the ground, and as soon as the wind started to blow, it flew away up to an estimated 50 to 60 feet. Now, one of the boys is critically injured. The other one was hospitalized, but is expected to make a full recovery. This is the fifth bouncy house story we've done this year. It's crazy.
Yeah. And there's a great quote in here about a guy where he says it's an epidemic. Oh yeah, if this were a disease, Tracy Meehan says, a health educator, I love this title, Child Injury Prevention Alliance. She says, if this were a disease, it would be considered an epidemic.
No, but here's the crazy thing. This is serious, okay? One expert estimates there are 11,000 bouncy house injuries in the United States each year.
Each year, okay?
Why are you guys putting bouncy houses at parties and farms? Get rid of the bouncy houses.
No, this is the Ebola of toys kids. Yeah. Kids' toys, okay? Okay, so, like you don't know what you're, like, it's a death trap. They're going into, the kids walk into the bouncy house and they start hearing the rains of Castamere. Like, what's going on? Next thing you know, they're up in the sky. Don't do it. Okay, now look, in this case, apparently it was closed, and like Anna said, it was barely tethered to the ground, not done the right way, and somebody said, oh, it'll be a free ride. Mm-hmm. They had no idea the kind of ride they were going to take, right? But now, having done these are from different stories we did throughout the year. Having done a number of these unbelievable bouncy house stories, no way, man, no way. I'm not putting my kids in there. Or if I am, I'm going in there with them so that it's properly weighed down.
So far, Jake has been an advocate of banning bouncy houses, swings. What's next, Jake? Should we wrap our kids up in bubble wrap?
Yeah, and unless it's going to make them fly away. Okay, and don't forget, I'm also against Snapchat. Okay, so no. Look, proper caution. Okay,
yeah.
that's all
Look,
I'm saying.
if they're is now an epidemic of these bouncy houses flying away as soon as there's a little gust of wind, then yeah, it's a really big problem.
My neighbor did a bouncy house 2 doors down from me like about a month ago for his daughter's birthday party. And I looked at him and I said, oh no, that won't be happening. Good luck trying to get me in there, buddy. Okay.
There was one at the pumpkin patch. I took my kid to the other day. And I forgot I did it. He wasn't going to go in, but there was bouncy houses, kids everywhere. And immediately I looked straight to the supports of all four. I'm like, which one of these is going to let loose? Because this is going to go. My first thought is, this is over. It's taking off.
Okay, by the way, whenever we do any of these stories, like almost in any story, you could say 11,000 injuries from fill in the blank, right?
Yeah.
Like we were at Jesus' son's birthday party over the weekend, right? How many people you think get injured doing piñatas?
Yeah, thanks for the invite, by the way. But.
Okay, anyways, okay. You don't have kids. What's the point? Yeah. Right. You really wanted to come to his 2-year-old's birthday party?
Totally.
Yeah, right.
You're welcome.
Yeah. You know what Pro said to me afterwards, Jesus? I really like that yada yada party.
Aw, what does that mean?
Piñata? The yada yada party.
It's so cute.
Okay.
I just can't.
You can't. But there's minimum 11,000 injuries because what happens? You take a guy, either young kids with sticks swinging fucking wildly, right? Or you take adults who are even stronger and you blindfold them and then have them swing wildly.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, it's the only thing that's worse than bouncy houses.
Hilarious.
Anyway, all right. We are out of time apparently, so you will miss the clowning around story. All right. When we do our post game for the members, you will hear about Anna at 6 in the morning. I don't know what it's about, but my interest is piqued.
Okay.
And we'll see if there's any Snapchats involved. Okay.
Bye-bye. You liked that, didn't you?
All right. If you want the whole show, you like it even more, go to TYTnetwork.com. Go under member options, and you can get the whole show anytime you like.